be robed figures striking Dontok with a shovel, and you can see Agor like just slowly beginning it to like kind of amble down around him. And John, go ahead.
I don't know if Jason's back.
Yeah, you can try doing a firebolt. What was the other part you wanted to do? Sorry. Sure. Give me the attack roll, please, as you're taking aim. Let me know which one you are attacking.
I want the one that looks like it's to the north.
Okay, that's good. Spell attack roll, please.
Terrible.
You take your shot, but you're just overly compensating for the fact that Johnny is hanging on this rope. This rope is your mode of transportation down. You've got so many people in front of you, and as you just due to your position, you take aim trying to get the best angle you can, but it's just not good enough. You end up clipping into the top of the shaft, and you just watch as it burn and dissipates, and the ash and embers fall with this sort of vegetation. It leaves a soft little bit of fire along this wall. Nothing dangerous, but you definitely did not hit the target you were wanting.
Okay.
You grab onto the rope and you begin to descend down. You're only able to get about 20 feet, as currently Johnny is at that halfway mark.
Okay. Awesome. And that would be it for me.
Cool. Johnny, what are you doing?
So how far am I away from the ground?
You're kind of around that 25 to 30 foot mark. Probably from the bottom of your feet, you're around that 25. You do have Agor in your way.
I do. Can I sort of use some acrobatics to slide down and jump off before I reach him and sort of fall down, like sort of land behind
Sure.
kind of a little parkour action? Sorry.
Give me an acrobatics check, please.
Okay. An 18?
All right. How do I want to do this? As you begin sliding down, you get to the point where Agor is kind of more of like at a 10-foot mark. You can feel your hands begin to burn at the heat as you quicken your descent. Just at the last moment before touching him, you just kind of push off just a little. It's actually not as hard as it could be, just due to the extra weight that is currently on this line. And you're able to just push yourself off to where you land right beside Dontok. You are going to take 2 points of bludgeoning damage. Your acrobatics roll was good enough for you to kind of land and tumble without taking too much damage, though it does sting a bit.
Okay. So am I prone or am I standing?
No, you're standing. You were able to absorb the descent.
Was that considered the movement or the other movement and the action?
I would say you'd probably, with the time you'd have, you did fall a few feet, you use a little bit of movement. I'll give you 10 feet of movement if you so choose. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, can I act as well, or is my action taken by...
You can absolutely act. This is a quick thing where you just dropped, descended, landed, and then are now up. You have your action, bonus action, and about 10 feet of movement.
Excellent. So I've got these two creatures in front of me, right?
You would actually either be here, you'd probably be here. This is where I'll say you kind of push yourself off.
Okay, that's fine. So then in that case, I'm just going to step into this square. And I'm going to go to town on both of them.
You're going to be, you can move into the space. You will have to move back out.
Right.
So you come into the one, and which one are you attacking first?
One to the north.
Okay. You come in with your short sword, and you're able to jam the blade up into its center, and you collapse most of the right-hand side of its rib cage, damaging it quite a bit. And with that, you kind of pull the blade upwards, and as you do that, you just watch as the spine kind of breaks up to where this cage connects it to its shoulders, and the top half of it just topples off.
And then I will attack the one with my offhand.
Roll me a attack roll. You come in with your offhand, but just with Dawntalk in the way, you're trying to reach around this large turtle, and he's about to get hit by a shovel, so he kind of shifts and just knocks your arm out of the way before your dagger is able to make contact.
Right. So then I will use my new Rakish Audacity. No, Fancy. Which allows me to withdraw without opportunity attack.
Yep. So where do you move?
That's a good question. I'm going to move beside Ghislaine right here.
Oh, I'm up above
Yeah.
you.
Okay, that's fine. I'll move right there.
Sure. And as you've kind of landed here now, you see these two wood-like creatures now heading into your party's direction, one taking notice to you as you've now touched onto the ground.
Okay. So does the fancy footwork take the place of take the bonus action, or does it
Fancy
not take
footwork
It
is a
doesn't-
non-action. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's just part of what you do. So you do have your bonus action.
Okay, so then for my bonus action, I'm gonna try to hide. I don't know if I could do that.
No, you're out in the open. Dawntalk would kind of maybe. No, you're not small enough to really all of a sudden be hidden here.
Okay,
You would clearly be able to see. It's like there is vegetation in the ground, but for
That's
you to hide
fine.
under that would be a bit of
no
work.
worries. I'm done.
All right. Agor, or Ghislaine, sorry. Guy Slane.
Obviously enough
get
light
it
for Johnny to run around so I can see down and see the skeleton, correct?
Yes, there being a torch down there
Okay.
currently hanging off the shell of Dawntalk. Of course you can be able to see.
Yep. I aim my guitar downwards and just quickly throw my fingers across the strings. 25 to hit. I'll make it slashing.
It does hit, and as the sharp note shrieks out towards it, it goes down and strikes into the skeleton. You can watch as these cuts form out of nowhere for some of them. You can definitely see this damage that is permeated on its form, cutting across its robe, but it is still up, though it does not look to be in good condition.
And as a free action, I'll yell down, draw them into the circle so we can shoot down at them.
And that's it for your turn, no bonus action?
Bonus action, they're about 50 feet down, so within range of inspiration. I'll hold on to it. These look like common pheasants.
Yeah. All right. Egor, you're currently still on the rope. You're about 10-15 feet up. Dawntalk directly below you is taking blows from skeletons. What would you like to do?
Okay, I'm going to land, but I'm going to RP it a little bit differently. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as Agor is going to land on the ground, descending, kind of pushing off the back of Dawntalk's shell. He moves into a position.
Okay.
Sure. Roll me an attack roll.
Ooh.
Just for those watching at home, Agor jumped down and used his staff to kind of come down with a hammer blow.
Yeah. Going off of the RP side, he's just coming down, and as he gets to a descent or a comfortable height, he is going to land directly beside Dawntalk and just slam his staff into the skeleton. He does so, and you watch as with the force of the blow, it just shatters the skull and halfway down the backbone of this creature, and it just falls down dead again. All right, everyone rolled really good initiative. Jesus. Anything else for you? You've used probably about 25 feet of movement at this point, between your descent, going into Dantog space, and moving out of it. So you see the woodish creature kind of moving and ambling its way to what you would suspect to be Johnny's position, but you are instead going to attack it, or get in between him and a strike.
Chad's in here.
15 will hit, and as you throw your fist out, what is all right? You come across, bringing, looking to you feint with the right hand, and then come across quick, with a roundhouse to the things. What would you suspect to be its head? And you just watch as you just crumple it. The wood itself gives way to the force of your blow, causing this thing to just fall and become a dead wood creature. And that's it for you, I assume? Thantog. You've been struck twice, but as your allies have descended and taken positions in order to defend you, the two aggressors towards you have been slain, and one of those wood creatures that was charging towards you has fallen as well. There's still one in the chamber and seems to be ambling its way towards you. What do you do?
I think we skipped the trees, actually.
Oh, my bad. I'll have them charge you then.
Well, I mean, I'd rather not, but...
No, I appreciate your honesty. Way to take one for the DM. This one's gonna head towards you. You see that these wood claws, they look awful sharp and splintery, are gonna slash out towards you. And again, this one though, just having just come down, kind of trips over a root, and its hand falls short and just plunges into the ground in front of you, and its head looks up and gazes into your face, and it gives you that weird hissing, rasping sound of the bark rubbing together. What would you like to do?
Dantog giggles. And...
What does a Dantog giggle sound like?
Silly evils. And he swings at it with his mace, bonking on the head.
Sure, roll me that
Very
attack roll.
comically.
You strike out towards it, but this thing is a little more agile than I think you're expecting, and it just kind of rolls with its body away from your blow, and your mace slams into the same spot where its hand had previously struck into. You're in a little bit of a melee with it at this point. Valcoris, what would you like to do? Valcoris? Jason?
Well,
You got about 35 feet, I think, to go, or before you're down towards the bottom. You're currently on the rope.
yeah, I think I'll just kind of climb down to pretty much the bottom of the rope, not quite, right? And then just kind of one hand on that thing and blast that wood creature with firebolt again.
Sure. Roll me that attack roll. As you descend upon the rope, you get to about the 10-foot mark, and as you're continuing sort of a slide down, you take aim and you fire. Roll me damage.
All right.
Your bolt fires off, and you watch as the wood creature, seeming to be fairly dry just ignites immediately as it strikes into it. It cries out in this rasping sound and begins to face away from Dawntalk as before it just falls to the ground, this heaping bit of fire and smoke and wood. So, with that, you guys all take a moment to just analyze the scene of where you are currently. It is quiet for the most part at this moment, and there seems to be no more movement within the cave you are in, or the section of this building you're in.
Are we out of initiative?
You are out of initiative.
We'll finish our descent then and make sure everyone's down.
Indeed.
And then once that's the case, who has the light? Dawntalk?
I have an ever-burning candle.
Okay.
I guess I better give him some light. Give me 1 second.
Should we examine the fungus to make sure it's not dangerous?
What fungus? Oh, the light, the phosphorescent light stuff. It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. I say as I finally make my way down. Don't worry about it.
Okay, all right.
Is anybody hurt? Did anybody get wounded or anything? You guys okay?
I think we're good.
From these things.
All right, man. That's good. Good deal.
Not talk taste the fungus.
So, descending into this chamber now, as you guys have taken a breath and kind of taken a look around at this point, you're looking out into the walls here. You can see that there are stone walls, which gives you the idea that this is a continuation of the Citadel itself. Looking down towards the south, you can see what looks to be a door leading that direction, as well as you see the same thing to the northeastern side. Further up to the north, just very close to that door, you see looks to be a cavern where the wall has kind of collapsed and been cleared out, and you see what looks to be unworked stone out beyond that.
I take a gander at the skeletons. Those were the ones that were the gardeners, right? You said people
yes.
were gardening down. Okay. And I assume that the things that also fought us besides were the things they were harvesting. Interesting, to be sure. And no one was hurt. It looks like we have 3 options: 2 doors and a northward path.
I have 3 options, yes. There's 1 door leading to the south, 1 door leading more to the east, and this kind of open, unworked stone cavern or cave entrance leading to the north.
Hey, Falcoris, what do you think? Never mind. Psych.
I think we go.
I didn't ask you,
This-
buddy, but I appreciate your opinion.
Sorry.
Hey, Johnny. I walk over to Mr. Elizabeth.
Oh no.
Not that I kind of whisper to you. Not that I think, Dawntalk's opinion, doesn't matter or anything. That's not what I'm trying to get at. I just think that you're more savvy with these kind of areas. Do you catch my drift?
Oh yeah.
All
That's
right.
racist.
You can't hear me. Shut up. Which path do you think we should go? South?
So is our goal to secure this level as well?
I assume that's our process, our technique here. Sounds wise.
Then I think we should probably hold off on the doors and find out what the open cavern is to the north.
That's a smart idea. All right, north it is. Dawntalk, lead the way.
Don Tucker's to the southern door.
I grab a hold of his shoulder and kind of try and spin him in the right direction.
Okay. Is Dawntalk heading to the south door out of defiance, or is he heading to
Good question.
Is he just confused as he gets spun around?
Directions are not cardinal directions.
I gesture towards the hole in the north.
Point.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, he understands that.
All right.
So as you point, you just proceed. I'll have you slow down there. Oh.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. As you look in, looking up to you at this point, I'll have everyone stop where you are. There is a rat looking directly at you at this point, and you watch as it hears a cry all of a sudden. Pull up the
Does the
sheet.
rat look familiar?
It looks like give me a general intelligence.
It's
check.
not gut vash, is what he's wondering.
It doesn't.
Disgusting one.
It does not look like a. I'll say it does not look like the disgusting ones you've seen. These ones have.
Oh no,
Well, they're not.
Jeremy. There's a queen one that's
Yeah,
got away.
I heard about it. This doesn't look like it, but you've probably. Oh, I don't know if you've actually seen the other rats. These just look like giant rats.
Okay.
General giant rats.
I was kind of going for does it look like the group? That
Just making sure it wasn't the nemesis.
Yep. Giant
But
rat is an improvement.
as you are looking there and it begins to screech, you watch as rounding a corner now and looking at you appears to be.
Can you guys hear me?
Now I
Now I can.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. My thing's been just totally screwing up for the last few minutes.
No worries.
We're set on
Would you like to make up for it by? Sorry.
No, I have no idea what's going on. I couldn't hear anything or speak, so.
We killed
Oh,
the
okay.
skeletons. We are moving to the open passageway, not the closed doors, per Johnny Lafitte's suggestion. Dontalk's taking the lead. There's a rat up ahead, and we are now stopped because I presume initiative's about to be rolled again.
Okay, thank you.
And you should be next to me.
So, Dontalk, I believe, rounding this corner just into. Oh, actually, you don't see this. Okay, no, you guys don't see
Never
this
mind.
whatsoever. But out of the darkness, you hear something. Does anyone speak Goblin?
No.
No.
All right, you just hear something yelled in this guttural roar in Goblin from the darkness. So I'm actually gonna have everyone get back in initiative.
All right.
Okay.
You'll have to forgive me. I am not accustomed to.
Yay.
I need to get. Let me pull up mine. Oh my goodness. It's like my first time using Roll20 or something.
It's all good. Just keep on rolling like you do.
I feel like that's an insult.
I don't see it as an insult for
Have
me.
you
It works so
have you
well.
have you seen my rolls? Come on, man. All right. Do I have everyone's rolls in there?
Seems so.
Oh, beautiful. So, from the darkness beyond emanating, I think Dontalk, you'd have enough time to kind of indicate that there is a giant rat within this cave, and you can hear what sounds to be more than one. But that is not what has your attention immediately. Is out from the darkness beyond the light of your torch, you hear this guttural roar and something said in a language you don't understand. The rest of you would hear this roar as well. Agor, what do you do? If you are there.
He
You-
I
moves
think
forward.
he's not really talking.
Cool.
I'll be his voice.
So he moves up beside Dontalk.
Ready's an action
and
to
he's
strike with
ready
a staff.
action. Staff out. Cool. Johnny,
Yes.
you're
So
standing back.
So seeing what Egor has done, he likes the idea. He says to the others, let's bottleneck them here. gonna move up behind Dong Talk and ready in action to strike one that comes within reach.
Sure. Sounds good to me. You hear that voice once again, and as gotta pee. Once again, and you don't see it coming, so this is going to be... Oh, actually, you would see this coming as it gets to within range of your... Gets into your vision now. You watch as what appears to be a bugbear steps up, javelin in hand, and it throws it at you, Dontok.
Yay!
Yay, I rolled well! Sorry.
That was a good roll.
You being surprised and unsure as what it was, the reverberations of the cave making the creature sound much larger than it actually is. You're kind of surprised when it turns out to be just a bugbear, but then it throws this javelin surprisingly hard, and it slams into the front left shoulder and winds you back, penetrating into your hard carapace and drawing blood.
He misses.
He misses at a 22?
Don't do it, Chaff. I don't have time for your trolling.
Oh, you do.
But he hit you, right?
Yeah, that's a hit.
Okay, I was like,
serious,
I don't
Chad.
know turtles well enough. That would have really just killed all my spirits. Cool. Giant rats are going to also maneuver their way towards you. And I'll say they both come into range at the same time, charging. You watch as this bugbear is actually pointing at you and seems to be giving them commands to attack you.
Do I get my opportunity now since I had held an action?
What were you holding?
If one comes within range, I would attack it.
No,
I have in melee range.
Do you have 10 feet of melee?
Yeah, you chose a bad trigger.
I chose a bad trigger. Okay.
You'd have to be within 5 feet of them in order to make your strike, unless you pulled out a ranged weapon.
Okay.
So this giant rat is going to, both of them with advantage, are going to attempt to bite you, Dontok. So that's a crit. And that's a 20.
Hit.
So you're going to take a total as one jumps up towards your neck, the other one coming in low down towards your knees. The one bites down hard into your clavicle area, just where the shell stops bleeding into and the soft, meaty part of your neck is. And these two fangs, though not sharp, just bury themselves with the strength of its bite, dealing 8 points of damage. The other one is grabbed onto your ankle and just also done the same, and torn a little bit of flesh off there, though it doesn't get as vital a point, dealing 3 points of damage.
Jason, you back?
Jason, what did he say he wanted to do?
I am totally back. Okay, so Valcoris will run up here, right behind Agor,
Okay.
and he is going to blast this bugbear back here.
I like it.
More fire, that's how I get down. 16 hit?
16 will... Oh, come on, slow computer. I need to see this AC. Hit as your flame ignites and flies from your hand. It slams into the upper left chest of him after he's just launched this javelin. You can see it ignites for a moment, but he quickly brushes the flames away. But you can definitely tell there's a nasty bit of burn across his chest there, though you didn't hit him as good as you had hoped, and some of the leathers he's wearing seem to have kind of shielded him. Taking a better look at him now, you can actually see this is a fairly large bugbear, and atop of his head is this crown made of antlers, from what you must assume to be a large stag of some sort.
Sweet. Okay, I'm going to take the rest of my movement to kind of creep around this corner so he can't throw a javelin at me.
Sure.
And then that's it.
Guy slain.
Pop up, loose guitar, throw a note at the bugbear.
You pull this one really hard, trying to take aim towards him, but you just watch as maybe it's the reverberations or echoes of the cave, but as he's roaring, just seems to cut your note short, and it doesn't seem to reach into his form.
Yep. Acoustics suck. I move off to the side.
Sure. No bonus action?
No, I'll let you know. I'm good.
Okay. All right, Dontok, you have been hit pretty hard. Those first creatures you have fought were pretty easy, but these giant rats working together seem to almost act as hounds, and this bugbear is thrown pretty hard. Okay, cool. You're undaunted. You lift your mace up and you slam it into the one on the left, the one that's gone more for your ankle, as the other one's kind of backed away, hitting and striking it for 5 points of bludgeoning damage. Your mace kind of crushes to the back. You can hear this high-pitched squeak as it kind of collapses, but then you watch as it picks itself up. It looks a little broken, but it looks to still be in this fight.
Bonus action, I'll cast Shield of Faith on myself.
Cool. I like it.
And I'm done.
Igor, the
Don't talk, it's
left
hurt.
one. Left one is hurt. Is the one he pinged for me, I believe.
Yep.
So the left one is taking some damage.
He steps
Sure,
forward.
you're going to take a step forward, and as you approach it, you hit it with your tap, I assume. So as you're coming in, looking to do a little bit of jab, you instead spin, and as your quarterstaff comes down, it slams onto the back of this giant rat, and you watch as it just gets crack right into the skull, and you can just watch as one eye kind of pops out, and the tongue lolls to the side, and it just goes unmoving, prone on the ground.
Bruh.
It's pretty nasty. Okay, you then do a sort of spin coming around with a spinning elbow, but as you do it again, Dontok has kind of been the bane of the front line for you, and he's kind of, you can see he's bleeding a little bit, not in bad shape, and his mace, as he is just kind of preparing for another strike on this one, almost clips you, so you find your blow has to go low, and you have to pull back a little bit to prevent yourself from being bludgeoned in the face. You then circle around behind it, positioning yourself in front of Balsag, who, as you struck and killed this giant rat, has just let out this guttural roar out towards you. Mr. Johnny.
Johnny will step forward and attack the remaining.
Sure. Johnny, roll me an attack roll, please, as you step forward. 17, as you plunge that into it, it stands no chance against such a strike as the blade goes in. It just plunges in. You can tell you hit the heart almost immediately.
Pocket.
And it screeches for a moment before just immediately going still. Withdraw your blade. It has got quite a bit of this giant rat blood on it that drips crimson in the light that you're currently in. Balsog, I guess I shouldn't say his name, but the bugbear seems to be stricken and even more angry at this point.
I just move back and take the hide action.
Sure.
Bonus.
Roll me, roll
that
me stealth check, please.
18.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Balzog is going to charge forward towards you, Agor. And he, at his hip, pulls out what looks to be a large morning star and is going to swing it and slam it into you. But he's not. And as he swings out to you, you definitely dodge, and it just curves off and strikes into the cave wall directly beside you, chipping a large amount of stone off. You can see the angry face of this creature, this mouth dripping with this kind of drool that sprays across you as he kind of roars in your face, even after missing. His eyes are not leaving you at this moment. Chorus. I believe, right?
I will, Falcoris will pop out
Sure.
here, and these guys really just don't seem like too much to worry about, I guess. I'm gonna pop Ballsack with a,
It's
With-
Ballsuck.
I'm sorry, with a, with a firebolt, like this is just really old hat.
So that'll hit.
But I'm real good at hitting him with it, just not, woo, okay, woo!
About to complain about that damage. About to complain about it. Then all of a sudden, this one, though, striking in the same spot where you kind of burned
Which-
away a lot of the armor, it does burn into him. And
To be quick, though, that negativity is right on brand, though, Jason. Like, oh,
Yeah.
man, my life is so bad. Crit hit. So awful.
I only got that crit because
so, your flames burn into its shoulder, striking the same spot. You can see that he definitely grimaces more in pain, though the rage that kind of is within him is still directed towards Agor. Seems to have a little bit of a vendetta going on here. Geislin.
Yeah, I pop out, and I'm going to hit him with a sharp note. Similar story. That 1 damage.
Do it.
You pop out in that note. You're still having a little trouble getting used to the acoustics, but you are able to strum sharp enough in order to have it make contact. You watch as the tiniest cut forms just below his right eye, and a little gout of blood comes out.
I'm kind of fiddling with the string, and I look over at Falcoris, like, kind of perturbed, like I'm trying to get that right stuff, and he's already got it. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Dontok.
Duntok walks up to this guy. We already hurled a javelin at him, and he's just gonna swing his turtle shot at him and bonk him on
Sure.
the head. Comically, as usual.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You take this moment as Agor kind of positions himself in front of you. You cross behind in those moments where he's preparing to strike. Agor, you come in underneath, aiming low towards the ribs, and are able to make contact. You can tell that you've damaged him, but you're surprised how sturdy an individual as he takes your blow. You're hitting something made of a lot of muscle, and you can definitely tell that even with the blow you've laid across. You can hear the grunting grimace that comes from him, but yeah, it definitely hurt him, but he's still a hardy individual. Anything else for your turn? Talk? Am I still here? Okay.
You are.
Agor, as you have been striking, you can see that this bugbear's focus is directed towards you. He still looks quite in the fight, even though he's taken quite a few blows presently. Roll me those attack rolls. 25. Crack as it splits across his lower jaw. You watch as he turns back, and it is visibly out of place as he turns back looking in your direction. Then you punch him in the eye. So you're coming in, your fingers kind of pointed, trying to hit what would be a pressure point. And as it comes in and tries to slam into him, he dips his elbow just enough to block the blow at the last second. You circle around just a little bit more, trying to position him and make sure that he is encompassed and unable to escape, or at least the best you can. I gotta put this one as dead. Dang it. Johnny.
Both rats are dead, yes?
Yes.
I will attack.
Okay. You move into him as he's distracted. All right. So, how do you want to do this for against old Ballsag here?
Yeah, I just want to. So as he finds the sort of the soft spot on the hard, muscular thing and slips it in between the.
Sure. As Agor is kind of spinning around, you watch as the bugbear takes this brutal slam into the ribs. There's blood kind of dripping from its right-hand side of its face from the sharp note that was put on it. Agor cracks him, and as you will see the jaw crooked, looking in towards Agor. He's about to take a strike and is able to block, and that's when you watch as the other arm comes up instinctively to slam into Agor's form, and you take that moment just to quickly and deftly slide your blade up under a rib and into the heart of this creature before you withdraw it. Very little blood, as it was such a precise strike, but you watch as he takes, there's a moment where he just stands straight up and then straight down to his knees, and then just falls over to his side dead.
Yeah.
And that will pull us out of the initiative. Old Mr. Balzag is now dead on the ground. You see his antler helm is kind of, or crown is kind of toppled off to the side onto the ground. Not broken, as none of you kind of struck him there. But yeah, what would
I
you
totally
like?
want to wear that thing. What?
Wow. We need to search to the back of this chamber.
Sure. You guys do what you want to do.
That's what
I'm
John
gonna-
would say to the rest of the group.
I'm checking out the body
Sure. Give me a
while they check the room.
investigation check, please.
Nobody goes for the antlers, then Dontok goes right for the antlers.
Sure. You get the antlers, Don't Talk. It's a crown. For most members of this party, I think it wouldn't fit, but just due to your turtle nature and the bugbear nature, it's not a perfect fitting crown, but you both are large-headed creatures, so I'd say it fits fairly well on you.
Pot that I had on there before.
Yeah. Looking into this bugbear, You're not seeing a lot on his person. He's wearing these weird sort of leathers that seem to be a patchwork sort of armor, though you get the sense that it was well done and provides him with a pretty good amount of protection here. He is got a couple javelins on him still. He's got 2. But other than that, it is his Morning Star. He doesn't seem to have anything currently on his person other than the armor and his weapons.
Dante looks to the rest of the group with proud of his new year. How do they look? Now I'm king of the forest.
You look great,
We
man.
lost Jason in just
Yep.
Jason, join Discord.
is this a bed? Is this a bed?
Yes, as you kind of entered into this room and taken a better look, you would see that the 2 giant rats themselves were sitting on these makeshift nests of this vegetation that is around, though dried, creating soft beds for them. The cave structure itself in here is definitely not worked stone from what you guys would easily be able to tell. At the end of the room towards the north side, you can definitely see that there is this path, though small and winding, seems to lead further into more unworked stone. For you, Johnny, as you kind of rounded the corner, and Ghislaine, as you're taking a look, you guys do see what looks to be the place where this bugbear was sleeping, essentially, a sort of a quarters. You can see here strewn about what could only be amounted to as maybe trophies. There's several weapons here, javelins, spears. You also see what looks to be a long sword and actually a great sword, all on a sort of weapon rack behind his bed.
Would point that out to the others and asks if anyone wants those weapons. Okay, so that's what
you see.
is there. And so, do we get a sense of whether this passageway leads straight or like where does this passageway lead? Do we have any idea about it? Looks like it winds around, but
I will say that as you're kind of getting close to there was a similar passage you would have seen before. You're getting the sense as to the structure of it. It is not a part of this citadel. And as part of the way the wall is broken, you're getting the sense that this entryway would more than likely, I'll say, this would probably just be well known to almost everyone. It would lead down into the Underdark, giving you a little bit of an idea as to where some of these creatures have been coming from.
Should we block that? I say to the other.
We didn't with the one up above. It should be fine. We have plenty of watches and the like, so I don't presume that they'll be coming up after us. If that's effectively a dead end, I kind of turn and look back the way we came.
I wanted one more thing from Ghislaine and Johnny, as you guys were the ones who came more into this chamber. Can I get a perception check from both of you?
A 9.
22.
22. Ghislaine, as you're kind of looking, you see Johnny go look towards that bed, but taking more of a focus on the weapons rack that is beyond this array of weapons you can only consider to be trophies. But he immediately takes himself away from this bed area, looking towards this cave entrance that leads further down and into the Underdark. You, having a more scrutinizing eye, look towards that bed, and you can see what looks to just be a irregular bulge kind of sticking out of it at the back end, kind of hidden under the armor rack, or the weapon rack itself.
Okay, I draw my rapier and try to move around everything so that I can see what it is. kind of pull up whatever the contents are.
Sure. As you move around to it, you kind of lift the edge of the blanket and what is kind of a mattress of sorts with your rapier, and you see what looks to be a small morning wood box. Sure, just a small wooden box that seems to be there.
Okay. I'll. Does it look locked?
No, it has a simple latch on it.
I open
And you look into it and you find what must have been this creature's little bit of treasure. It is full of a number of coin, gold, and silver.
it. Okay. I very quickly count it and start parsing it into 5 equal shares.
Sure, you find 54 gold pieces and 241 silver. So you guys can split that up as you see fit.
I put 1 silver piece in my pocket.
Sure.
And then I take another, I'd say 3 off the top, 3 gold pieces, and then I go around and I give 15 gold pieces to 15 gold pieces of gold. Actually, put all that coin in my pocket, and then I go and give everybody 15 gold pieces. That makes better sense.
Sure, you guys all got that?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
I spend 15 gold pieces of my own money to give each of you 15 gold, and then I take the large stack of silver and put it in my bag.
Oh.
So add 15 gold for the rest of you to your currency. As far as the rest of this chamber, you're noticing that the previous chamber that you were in had that vast amount of vegetation and fungus and whatnot. You can tell that as it kind of entered into this chamber, there is encroachment by that vegetation into this cave, but it is not extended fully into it. It is mostly just stone walls and stone ceiling, etc.
Okay.
Okie doke. So we should go back and check the doors.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take. Which one do you think, Johnny?
Well, the one nearby, maybe. It makes the most sense, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Is that a door?
Yeah. Jason's having system issues, so that's
Yeah,
why he's
yeah.
coming in weird.
Okay.
I'll be Falcorus for now.
May I check that door, please?
Sure. What are you checking for?
I'm checking first to see if it's trapped and then to see if it's locked.
Okay. Give me a investigation check, please.
26 crit.
Okay. You are 100% as you're kind of maybe a little leery from the encounters you've had so far, and this being the first doorway you've seen. You scrutinize it very efficiently, checking it over, checking the seams, looking into the lock, which is there, to see if there are any forms of traps, any wires, any springs, any lines that are within your room that might indicate pressure plates or anything like that. And you are 100% sure that this door is not trapped, though it is indeed locked just from your investigation.
Excellent. So now I'm going to try to open it.
Sure. Give me a thieves' tools check as you begin.
Not quite so good. A 10.
10. Your first attempt going into this door, you feel like you got the tumblers, and just as you're kind of turning it, you feel your the one pin in your hand slips, and then you hear one of your tools break.
Right.
And half of it is currently in that lock.
Okay, if I take some time, can I remove that broken pick from the lock?
Sure. Roll me a sleight of hand check. If you're gonna try and do it, you have to be careful.
Yeah,
Oh
I rolled
boy.
6. I did poorly.
Ooh, so as you do this, you're trying to pull this pick out and pull it out gently, but it gets caught for a moment. And as you kind of try and wrench it, you just hear the sound of every single tumbler shattering. And you get the sense now that this door is permanently locked.
Good.
Right.
Nothing can come through. We'll go check
Johnny
the other one.
sighs. Okay. You don't want to try to break it down?
No, let's go check the other one real quick.
Okay.
They're not going to be able to get out. The door is permanently locked.
Okay.
Created a solution where there was no problem.
Super.
Score.
So the same thing I'd want to check for
Sure. Give me another investigation check.
14.
14. You don't scrutinize this door as much. It looks very similar to the other one. It was not trapped and had a lock on it, and it was so. This one does not have a lock, so you put a little less effort into it and are under this assumption that it is not trapped.
Excellent. So then I'd open it up.
And it opens.
Great. I'll go through.
Let me grab the dynamic lighting. Okay.
Chat.
Shut
Hmm?
up.
Damn token.
No, Don Talk is just standing up.
I yell for him and tell him
No
to get
one's
over
talked to him for some time.
I was adding my.
Okay. Going all the way with those jokes, right?
Yeah,
Classic.
yeah,
all
let
the
it go.
way into the ground.
Surprisingly, that morning star smells like bologna.
Huh.
As you are walking down this archway, you see what is a visible rift that has naturally formed in some way, shape within the cave itself. As John Talk, you walk down a little bit, you kind of see the continuation. And Johnny, actually, you can see this well with the torchlight that he's providing. You can see that this whole system has shifted and is just brutally off to one side. And this rift itself is open and goes both to your left and right hand side and seems to carry on to different paths.
So it's the same. It doesn't go up or down. It's still straight. It's just
There's
Just
about a
passageway?
5-foot decline as you go down, easy to walk down, but now there's a passageway that goes left and right, and you see what you would assume is the path that you were just on continuing down south, but it is shifted 10 feet over. Agor, as you kind of have entered that chamber, and Don Talk, you're there first, give me a perception check.
Yes,
Agor, give me a perception check, please.
this does smell like bologna.
You just have your mace up towards your face and are just sniffing it to make sure that you are indeed sure that it is bologna. Not taking your eyes to the ground, but Agor does look to the ground, and you see something that is very weird within this shaft. And they are these small holes. They're about 2 feet wide, and they just look down into darkness. You're unable to see very far just due to the light being provided here. But there's just sparingly. There's one directly right beside you. You see 4 or 5 more leading down to the south part of this sort of rift, and there's a few more leading up to the north side. They don't look like. Give me a nature check, just as you're taking a look. Weird. It's just weird. Anyways, he tells the party this about these holes. What is everyone else doing?
going to suggest that they choose a path and we'll follow.
Let's keep going in the same path, essentially, right? We just have to, it's a little jog.
Yeah.
I tried picking a path last time. I was judged.
I wasn't. Sorry, Don't Talk. I apologize. You thought I was talking to you again. Nope, I wasn't. It's okay. It's okay, big guy.
Talk wanted to come this way the whole time. Johnny, as you're continuing on, you watch as the path kind of shifts off to your left-hand side and then continues down and then turns a corner once again.
Yeah, so I don't want to just go cautiously checking, carefully as I go, so not really.
Sure. Are you being stealthy, or are you just proceeding carefully, checking for traps as you go?
I probably knowing that the whole group is behind. I'm not really worrying about being too stealthy.
Sure. But you're just trying to keep your senses on high, just to in case there's any danger. Okay. Give me just a general perception check.
Sure.
As you are trying to do that, trying to stay aware. Your candlelight only providing you with a little, but due to your slow movement, you take it slow as you're going here, but you are not detecting anything. Nothing stands out to you that appears to be dangerous. This just seems to have an air of the rest of the Citadel you'd kind of seen before. The fine work stone, though aged, gives way to no sort of traps or anything like that.
Okay. Oh, and there's a door.
As you kind of round the corner and able to see the light of your candle, giving enough ambient light that you are able to see a door.
So like the others, I'd want to check it for traps.
Sure, investigation check, as everyone
20.
is proceeding to follow you, or at least slowly. You scrutinize this door, giving your head a shake as your last attempt, maybe being a little not as invested. You do scrutinize this one a little bit more and are able to determine that it is not trapped. There's no lock either, though the handle here and the door itself you see has this image of a sort of dragon on it, which would have given you this idea that maybe you should be a little more scrutinizing of it.
Do I recognize the image?
You've seen this image in a few places, or varieties of it in the first level of the Citadel, that which has represented the large red dragon that this place was worshipping.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I would definitely point that out to the others, and if it's unlocked, I'd open it up.
Sure. You open the door. As you do, you peer into a room that looks to be about 30 feet by 30 feet. Looking into it, right in the center of it, you see what is this large statue of this dragon looming at first. It maybe catches you off guard for a moment before you realize that it is just stone. Its body hulks up, its wings are out, kind of curving in. Looking in your direction, you watch as the neck kind of cranes up and then down again, its head at eye level with you. But where its lower jaw is, you see where there would be kind of teeth. You just see this flat plate-like structure.
I'd move closer, and having experience with the first level of this dungeon, I'd want to look for the kind of writing that I know is draconic that I can't read, that was on some of the other ones.
Sure. You kind of scrutinize it. Give me... As you begin to brush it off, if there was any writing, I think you'd be able to kind of see it, having become more familiar to it. As you're kind of looking at it, just take a look here. You do see a little bit, I'll say. There's just this tiny bit of draconic on there.
So I would call the others in, and especially Valcoris and if I hadn't already, or if he didn't know already, I would mention that when we encountered these other statues with draconic writing and the words were read in draconic, it triggered some sort of an event, sometimes not so good.
Well, I wish I could help, but I don't speak Draconic.
I do.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Geislane, as you're kind of coming in here, and Johnny, as you've been moving around, we'll get to a few things. Geislane, as you look at it, you see the draconic words. You immediately just recognize that it is just the name of the dragon itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Johnny, as you've kind of been in this room for a little while longer and you take a look around, you actually do see that the walls themselves are actually a bit decorated. You see these faded tiles building this sort of mosaic along the wall. Many of them are kind of dust covered and fallen to the wall, shattered, broken, but they kind of give this idea of the way this dragon was worshipped and revered. Yeah, that's about it. They don't convey any sort of meaning. You get the feeling that it's mostly just this room has a general feel of worship.
Okay.
And as you're all kind of entering in here, you would kind of get the same feeling.
And just looking in through the door, not going in, I just kind of say, nothing worth taking.
Suntalk meals. But and thanks Tater Tot for everything he's given me.
Did you say tater tot?
Yeah, mate.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. Right, Gilvader. You take your little bit of moment to have a little prayer, but you get with the dragon looming eye level towards you, this mouth open and this sort of rounded tray sitting within. That's what you see.
Can we check out that tray?
Sure. You take a look at it, and dust is quite built up onto it. Are you moving over to it and actually like physically checking it, or are you leaving it in the mouth?
I'd want to look at it carefully without touching and see what I can discern before touching.
Sure. Give me a perception check, because you're doing this from far away and you're not physically touching it.
Right.
Very hard for you to kind of scrutinize it.
Sure, a 10.
It's hard to tell what it's made of. I'm unsure if it's stone or metal, just due to this thick layer of dust that has kind of covered it. You can tell that this chamber is old and it's been probably sealed for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So Johnny would turn to the others, especially Falcoris, and sort of lift his shoulders like he doesn't know and step aside.
And Falcoris will kind of walk up and try to check it out and see what he can figure out about this thing. Does the tray look like it's does it look like there's any area around it that can like move? Do we have any kind of, I don't know, like visible? Yeah.
The way the tray is kind of put in here, the way you see it is actually there's two fangs like that come up at the front, and then there's two more fangs at the back, and underneath you can see these teeth that act as a resting point. The tray itself looks like it was set in and very solidly.
Okay.
It looks like it could be withdrawn if lifted.
All right.
Suntalk will walk up and place 10 gold on the tray.
Okay. As you do that, the gold clatters onto this tray. You're getting a better look at it. It actually causes some of the dust to kind of fall away on it. And you get the sense now, looking at the tray, that it's looking like some sort of brass or bronze, that a tray that is resided here. Dontalk, just due to this action, give me a religion check. you take a moment and you're thinking, and you get a very good idea, and just in your actions, you kind of discern what this place is. This isn't a special room of any sort in the depths of having some sort of magical presence or anything like that. You have been to places of worship before. You're getting the idea that that's all this is, and
Shrine
that
of sorts.
a shrine of sorts.
Do you mention it out loud? Don't talk.
Yes.
Okay.
Place and nothing magical happens.
Guyslane walks forward.
Nothing
Strong.
magical happens whatsoever. It's still, it's dark. There's
Yeah.
this looming presence of the statue, but there's no essence of magic or
Okay.
divinity here.
Yeah, I step forward, I toss a silver piece into the offering plate, and I look at everybody. Now, who knows? Maybe the dragon will help us out. Let's go back the other way. Choose a different path. I don't pay attention to whether or not that silver
No.
piece stays in the plate, though.
Yeah, I'm not paying this guy any money.
If you want to take it after I leave the
Don't
room,
drag it over help me.
if you want to take it after I leave the room, go nuts.
He leaves.
I just add it to his hoard anyway.
Sorry, what was that, Don Talk?
Took 9 gold back.
Okay.
So we have northeast or southwest.
Indian tither.
Let's go.
For that much, I expected something special.
You said there was a descent when we first came to this passageway. Is the descent westward or eastward?
Like when I said there's a descent, basically it's just the way the shaft itself
Okay.
and this area has shifted. It just kind of dropped 5 feet. Both paths are kind of level, though the one heading, I'll say, southern, it has a little bit more of a decline.
Okay, we'll go that way first.
Just do it. Splits off.
Of course it does.
Johnny, I'll say before you even, as you get to that point, you are entering into, looking into a chamber. It looks similar to the Underdark, but you can see the can you see anything?
I just see the entrance into what look like 2 pathways. I don't even see the end of any chambers.
Gotcha.
Scroll south. You sure you don't see anything?
Oh, I do now.
No.
Yeah, actually, I do see something down there. Yeah, that doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
I said,
Uh,
oh.
You see some reddish, red-colored creature, and it is currently sitting there, and it's looking in your direction. And I guess based on this, we will
Hey,
get
guys.
into initiative as you cross that corner. It sees you, and you see it. Let me just
Ooh,
clear
yeah.
this.
It looks like a chicken. Is it a chicken?
It looks
No.
like a fire chicken. It is. No, its form is more kind of towards a worm. You see these scales that come off its back, these fins, almost tendril looking.
Yeah, I was afraid.
Red scales.
Yeah.
Its head
I was
comes
hoping
off
for a
into
chicken.
beak.
Johnny's hungry.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe this thing is edible. But it looks very dangerous and very angry as you approach its position.
Yeah, I'm not on the initiative again.
Just right-click yourself and add turn, or roll again with clicking your token, and then just change the number to what you first rolled.
Okay.
That will be easiest for me. Come on, Fire Snake, open your sheet. Did we get Johnny? Yes. Oh, Johnny, you rolled so terribly.
I did.
So, as we get into it, the fire snake, seeing you, Johnny, now is charging out to your party, unaware of the troop that is currently behind you as backup. You guys can all see Johnny stops, and probably the look on his face indicates that there is some sort of trouble.
Help!
Falcoris, you are first to act.
Okay, well, I'm gonna run around this corner since my boy looks panicked. And then... You said this thing has fire, right?
It has red spines and everything like that. Give me a Arcana check to see if you have an idea about this creature. Just at first glance.
Terrible. Arcana.
You can tell immediately its elemental kind of affinity, as it is. It looks like a creature that is not common among the planes. It is this plane, as it does not look like a beast, and its red form almost has a glow, and you can see the air around it as it shifts from the heat of its own body.
All right, well, that's all I needed to hear. No fire spells from me. I'm gonna shoot this thing with my crossbow.
Well, damn. Roll me some damage. Oh my god. Cool. As you take your moment, you aim, you place your crossbow kind of on your forearm just to help you aim. And as you expertly do so, as it is kind of beginning to charge towards Johnny, its mouth agape, ready to strike into his form, your crossbow bolt slams into the bottom open maw of this creature. You can see this gout of red fiery blood as the bolt itself kind of ignites, but it just bites down and the bolt snaps and falls to the ground, still alight. Your bolt, how expertly aimed it was, does not seem to do as much as you would expect.
Darn it. All right, and then I'm gonna be like, no fire, guys, and run to this side. Here. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yep. And that's all I got.
Sure. Where's my turn after there? Egor. You are going to move in. You position yourself in front of Johnny. You're moving off to the side, using all your movement that you can. And you basically do any karate movies thing where you just, the fingers come forward and you beckon it towards you, and you take the dodge action. Guy slain.
I take the old position of Valcoris and strum a note.
Drum me that note. That hits. And as the sharp notes, you've gotten used to kind of the acoustics of the cave sound. You think you got it all figured out after contending with the bugbear. Yeah. And you strum hard and you watch as the cuts kind of strike into this thing. And as well as they seem to hit, you can tell that the hide of the creature is able to kind of absorb some of the damage it's taking. It catches you off guard a bit, but it doesn't matter to you, as you know you are hurting it.
Okay. And yeah, that spell is definitely non-magical, so yeah. Okay, good.
Oh, I better check that.
No. It's cool. I think I already know, but yeah, the spell before 5th level, it's slashing and piercing damage considered non-magical. So, yeah, as I think was mentioned a little earlier, damage spell in the hands of a bard should have some limitations, and it does.
Gotcha. Anything else? Any more movement, or are you just gonna stand there?
Solid.
Dantak.
Yeah, I think Dantak can kill it. I hope Dantak can kill it. Otherwise, I mean, how are you going to be considered the The mascot.
Does Guyslane actually hope he kills it? Because I feel like he would have different opinion on that.
No, yeah, I do. I want him to kill it.
Does this thing look pretty agile?
I really want to kill it.
You're getting hard to say. Its snake-like appearance means that it's. You would get the idea that it is somewhat an agile creature, but that's as far as you can do without giving it a full scrutinization.
Just go with it.
Oh, cast Sacred Flame on it.
And you do it the way as you begin to prayer, grabbing onto your holy symbol, it igniting right below it is the holy flames, burning into its form with a holy fire. It is unable to resist this damage as it strikes into it, or burns into it, the being, so to speak.
Fire seemed to do good.
Still alive?
It is indeed still alive.
Holy fire. That's it.
Okay. Fire Snake's turn. Yeah, Hagor, you're closest, so, and you're beckoning to provoke it would definitely cause it to go after you. So it will move into your space about here, and it will attempt to bite you and then tail strike you. 5 will miss as you're taking the dodge action. The bite comes in and it curves off into the ground. You can see flame ignite from its maw as it does this. As it spins around, having missed, its tail coming to sweep your legs. 14 versus the AC. I'm assuming that misses. You're able to kind of just jump and prevent yourself from getting struck. Johnny, the snake is just taking its position and is just gone after Agor and has hit and done no hitting. What would you like to do?
I would like to move back here and bonus action hide. I'm hidden.
Okay.
And I'm going to pop back out of cover.
Okay.
And while I was falling back, I stowed my short swords. I have the dual wielder feat, and I'm going to fire my. So, 12. Bummer.
Yeah, you take aim. It kind of quickly stowing your short sword. You technically have to drop one, but I don't care at this point. You fire your short bow, but it just, with Dontok is standing in front of you, he's a big figure, definitely oversizing this snake-like form that is currently striking. You take your shot as it's kind of bitten into the ground, and as it's withdrawing, your arrow then sinks into the ground where its face just was.
Okay, then I'm gonna move back again.
Valcoris.
Wash, rinse, repeat. This dude's gonna eat more light crossbow. Like so. No. I don't know if that even hit.
Surprisingly, it does. It is an agile creature. It has thick, sturdy hide, but it is not hard to hit. As it flies out, it strikes into it, burying itself just below the jawline and into the neck of this creature. But again, it doesn't seem to penetrate as far as you've used a crossbow before, either in hunting or something like that. Generally, a bolt will sink quite a distance into a creature. It does not do that with this one. And you can watch as that bolt instantly ignites. And
And I'm gonna move up
okay,
to give my allies more area back there. Go ahead.
so Agor, as you have successfully dodged 2 strikes, you've watched bolts fly out and hit this creature. Dawntalk is coming up behind, getting ready to lay into it. What are you doing? Oh, did Eli leave? What's
He said he's having technical issues.
alright? So
He's in a two-handed attack with
Okay.
stick. I got him.
sure.
Hold on.
Oh, sure. And you're gonna spend the key point to dodge. Okay. You got it. Please roll the attack roll.
Should be.
As he comes across with his quarterstaff, this thing doesn't, even though it's been fairly sturdy against the strikes, its head rears back out of the way of the swing. Agor then takes a stance, twirling the quarterstaff in order to potentially protect himself from any strikes that may come from this creature. Yes. Guyslane, you've been watching all this. This thing seems to be being handled fairly well by your party, but withstood quite a bit from your group so far. What would you like to do? You play that sharp note, and it's, though you're playing well with the acoustics, you just watch as it seems to just clip off this little fin on this creature. You kind of strummed a bit high, trying to dealing with Dawntalk, just as Valkoris has, and it doesn't seem to be phased by whatever was sliced off. It doesn't seem to be an integral part of it. More of a "this makes me look big" kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Dawntalk,
Yeah.
or anything else, I should say, for Guyslane first.
Oh no. Again, I'll let you know. I'm sorry. I keep on just. If I go blank, it means I'm done.
No, that's all right. I just I often skip people's bonus actions by accident while they're thinking about them. It's
Not
like
me.
to check.
Promise.
Does this thing look very well?
Very well. Sorry, I missed the last part.
Wounded? Is it? I mean, equivalent
It's not looking great. It has several wounds. You can see there's fire coming out of its mouth that had not been there previously, and you can assume that that was that crossbow bolt that was in its mouth. It definitely looks injured at a glance, we'll say.
I'll cast Guiding Bolt.
Cool. Roll me that attack roll. Due to that range, you know this is going to be difficult. Oh, but that doesn't matter. Point blank, it is whipping and dodging, and it is hard to get a lance on its position, but you're able to steady your arm enough and catch it just as it gets right in front of you, and you do hit it. And you just blow his head apart.
Wow.
The whole thing ignites flame, and the little bits of blood that seem to be splattering towards you, igniting into flame themselves as they are about to fall into your position. You just watch as they incinerate with the radiant source of damage that was your guiding bolt, and just turn harmlessly into ash before they land upon you. And that will end that creature. Holy shit.
Holy fire does good. Very good.
2 6s and a 5. Lord.
Dontok stomps out the shards of flame that are just...
Sure. But presently in front of you now, you have this empty chamber. Looking around, you do notice one thing in the room, and just behind, around where it had emerged from, you see what is a hole in the ground, similar to the ones you've seen, but there is this faint red glow coming from it.
Is the temperature any different?
Are you approaching the hole?
Yeah, I see like a yellow glow in this area as I get to that area.
The fire snake itself does provide a little bit of heat, but sorry, down in this corner where it was kind of residing, you approach that little hole that's in the ground. You do see a little bit of an orange glow. There is a small bit of heat coming from it. The hole itself, the light almost seems sort of sourceless. Like you can see this yellow glow, but you'd have a hard time determining how even far that glow is coming from. Like it's not enough to light this room. It's just enough to give you visual of a source of some sort of.
So there are two passageways here and one up heading towards the...
Oh, doesn't look like there's any passageways out of here besides the one we came in, right?
Oh, this
Yeah, what you're seeing in this current chamber is just like similar to Underdark, though this one just looks like a little cavern or cave. The only thing standing out is this one hole in the corner here. Everything else is just jagged, essentially.
Got it.
And the one up there where you are seems to end. You can see where the 2 points of rift and stone seem to come together. You can see a visible seam that is there, as where two bits of stone have come together. You're unsure how far that. Well, you must assume that seam goes quite a distance, as it caused this whole plate and temple to shift in this lower level.
This seems like a dead end.
Do I know anything about the creature we just killed?
Give me a Arcana check.
Nah, probably not.
No, you can definitely tell. You would be able to know specifics, but knowing it's not a beast, I'll say you could probably just determine that it's from the fire plane, what it does there, any other specifics about it, other than from damage, are the only aspects you're really able to draw.
Okay, and it's not burning or on fire or anything crazy?
It's not on fire, but even just approaching its dead form, the heat itself is immense, especially from the blood itself. You get the feeling that touching it would not be a good idea.
Okay, so let's move on.
Domtok's gonna use the Morning Star that he just acquired to sift through the ashes.
Sure. Just sift through the room or sift through the fire snake?
The fire snake's ashes.
Sure. Just give me a investigation. Oh man. You're kind of trying to be careful, and you can feel the heat, so it makes you probably a little wary of what you're wanting to do here. And as you're kind of prodding it, you're not seeing, this creature doesn't have pockets per se or anything like that, though it does sit here kind of coiled onto the ground, and you're unable to get its form to kind of uncoil because of your leeriness to potentially touch it and be hurt by it.
Domtok kicks it.
Okay. As you do so and as you touch it, you get the sense of heat, and you're going to take 5 points of fire damage. And all of a sudden, you slam your foot into it, and it burns.
Does that disrupt its body though?
You know what? I will say sure. You get it to uncoil, and falling from its coiled position, I'll say that you see a small item roll out from it. Let me just. And you see what look to be two, I believe these were, let me just make sure, red stones that seem to fall out from a sort of a tendril that was curled on its body.
Alright, I collect them and move to the exit. Show them to...
Sorry, blue stones, because I'm don't know my geology apparently.
Yeah, they're sapphires, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't want to say it out loud and be like blue sapphires.
I show them to the party and toss them to Jizzle.
Did who?
He's being a turd. Oh, I hate Shaft. How much do they look
School
like
time.
they're worth? The stones, how much do they look like they're worth?
Jizzy.
Okay, so as you're moving towards the exit,
Am I coming through okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just checking to see how much the stones he just tossed me are worth, so I can compensate.
sure, 50 gold total, I believe. Let me just
25.
50 gold each, actually.
Okay.
So
So
I have to redo Kobold Fight Club because I had done XP based on level 2s only.
sure.
I gotta go tend to a baby.
I look at the group, and I pull out my coins, and I say, "Coins a lot easier to split. Are you guys okay with me buying these stones outright, and giving you the coin?"
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So my cut would be 20, which means 80 needs to be dispersed amongst you guys, 20 apiece. And I quickly hand Johnny 1 platinum and 10 gold, and I hand everyone else 20 gold pieces. Yeah, and then I am 2 sapphires richer. Okay.
Alright, I need to give a post-it notes. Right, yeah, we'll end there. You guys basically move, having cleared a little bit. You know you have another shaft or part of this rift to kind of explore.
To the north.
The one to the north. But just due to the amount of creatures you kind of have encountered, you're probably getting the sense that maybe taking back and getting a rest and informing the rest of the party that you have ways to go, but involves a more roundabout way rather than a direct path due to a door being
And
broken.
to be sure, there doesn't appear to be anything to the north that looks like it's easily, quickly, and notably visible at the end, right?
No, it just continue for your vision. I believe it just carries on into darkness.
Yep.
Unless you wanted to move further up to investigate.
Definitely want to just kind of get an idea. We don't want to go too far. Again, like you said, we have done quite a lot, but I do want to check and see what's at the terminus of this rift. Because if we can cut off this wing, the only place that remains would be the door.
Sure. I'll say as you kind of proceed to the edge of the threshold, just at the edge of your vision, you see what opens up, and you can see smooth work stone and a wall beyond. If you proceed a little bit farther, just to get a check, you're not seeing any source of light, but you continue to see what looks to be smooth stone, as well as maybe catching a bit of a corner, giving you an idea that there's a small chamber that lies ahead.
Okay. Real quick, because it does look like we're having, I just want to make sure that I'm doing it quickly. I'm good to go for a little while longer. Shaft, good to go for a little while longer.
I probably actually should go because my
Okay.
baby's having trouble, and if
Okay.
other people are dipping out, it'd just be easier.
Got it.
tonight.
Just
No
want to make
worries.
sure.
Thanks.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and seeing that that's the case, we'll just roll back to the way out.
Sure. So yeah, you'll make your way out. You'll climb the rope. You got
Stop the stream.
set sort of position here, and no